just a bloke in a bar.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Packer Up Boys, brought to you by the best beer in all the land, Bloke Beer. Get down to your local liquor legends, IGA Plus Liquor, Celebrations, Bottle-O, you name it. We are in independent liquor stores. Get into your local, grab a case. And as usual, let's get to the traditional. Is it traditional yet? Has it been gone long enough? I don't know. Boom. There it is. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Ritualistic. We'll say ritualistic. I don't know if it's a tradition yet. I wonder how long something has to be going before it is considered a tradition.
Yeah, I guess maybe, I mean, it depends on what it is, but we've been doing this for a year. So I guess maybe when we get into next season, it's a tradition.
Yeah. I mean, Google that. Google that. How long before a tradition locks in? What's the definition? Wow. Docos, sports docos, love them. Love them. David Beckham.
Oh.
What a documentary. What a documentary. And I love the fact that it wasn't all roses and David Beckham's the greatest human being and he shits sunshine and gold and how perfect he is. And no, it was such a good insight into this guy, that incredible footballer, soccer player, incredible, but also can be selfish sometimes, also dealing with the mega stardom that he dealt with, also conflicting beliefs in what happened, like Alex Ferguson saying one thing happened, Beckham saying another thing happened. It is so good.
I will just interrupt for 1 second to define tradition. Slightly off. This is gonna have to be generational. It has to hit 3 generations.
What?
2. Okay, there's obviously 1,000 definitions, but this is the first one. Google. At least 2 transmissions over 3 generations are required for a practice, belief, or an object to be seen as traditional.
So first into second, second into third.
Yep.
And the generation, how long's a generation?
I guess, I mean...
What, 20 years?
Yes, well,
We'll write
20
ask, how long's a generation? Holy shit! So if you get named a tradition, I mean, you've put in the hard yards. You've put in the hard yards, because you can't be going, oh yeah, it's a yearly tradition when you've been doing a couple of years now.
Yeah. So obviously it depends on kids and stuff, but generally considered 20 to 30 years.
What? So we've been throwing around tradition willy-nilly like it's nothing.
Like it's absolutely nothing.
Like it's a family tradition and it's a fucking Christmas get-together for 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Oh
a great
my
point, actually.
God.
I say that all the time.
Yeah, it's a family tradition. We get together. We've been getting together for 5 years, Arnie, Ronnie. What the hell?
We got 55 to go.
Holy heckers. Jeez, that's
I didn't know
blown
that.
my mind.
I did not know that.
Wow. Time is such a bizarre thing, because in our minds, we can't actually fathom long spances of time. Like, when you think about it, what can you really fathom? Like, what actually fits in your mind? Maybe 10 years, you reckon? Where you can actually go, okay, I can see the impact of 10 years.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't remember anything like fully maybe when I was before high school, so.
But like, when you sit in your head and go, okay, you know, in 10 years' time, this will happen, and you can see kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I can see that. Whereas when you say things like 1,000 years.
Yeah, true.
When you say the word 1,000 years, people go, oh, yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah,
but
sorry,
have you thought about how long that is?
I haven't, but I misunderstood what you said. I think I do agree. I think 10 years is probably the perfect
It's honestly
amount.
about 10 years what a
Yeah.
human can kind of look at and go, oh, okay, I can see that. I'll be 30. Whereas anything longer than that, you're going, well, I don't really fit it in my head.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
Okay, look at 1,000 years, for example. America has been around for, well, Australia's been around for what, 200 years, as in
yeah.
this version of Australia, not the real Australia,
Yeah.
the Indigenous Australia. That's and that I was going to get to, the point I was going to get to.
Yeah.
65,000 years. Anyway, we'll get to that. America's been around for about, what, 250 years or something?
Honestly, I am not very good at history, so I
Did
don't
you
know.
Google it?
Yes.
How long's America been around? Jesus. When I ask you a question you don't know, just go, bomb, I'll Google it
sweet.
and get it straight up.
I've been doing this for 3 years.
So America, you know, the world powerhouse, or the world power, the world leader, air quotations, you know, strongest military we've ever seen. How long?
247.
247. So 250 years it's been around. Think about that. So America, we see it almost as something that's been around forever. That's what we think of. Like America, you think, okay, that's the world power. It's number one, biggest military the world's ever seen, you know, all that kind of stuff. 250 years ago, it didn't even exist.
That has actually blown my mind. Did not.
That proves the point.
Yeah.
You don't even, that's only 250 years. Now think about it. I think the I think the building of the pyramids is closer to the iPhone than it is to Cleopatra or the starting of Egypt or something like that. So say write in building of pyramids closer to iPhone, it'll come up. This will blow your mind that really will drive home that as humans, we don't understand the concept of time, like how long it can be, because it is actually wild.
Okay, so you were bang on. The difference in time between the construction of the pyramids and Cleopatra's time is roughly 2,500 years, while comparatively, it is 2,037 years to that and launch of the iPhone.
Think about that.
Like, seriously.
Like Cleopatra is associated with Egypt. So you would just assume, she was the the woman leader of Egypt and all that kind of stuff. She is further away. So take her back from now to the pyramids.
Yep.
Take that same slice of time back. She's further back than that in human history time.
That is honestly one of the most mind-blowing things I've ever heard.
I'll take it further. So that's 4,500 years, roughly.
Yeah, combined.
4,500 years.
Yeah.
The indigenous people have been around for 65,000 years in this country. They're the oldest living culture in the history in the world. 60. So 4,500 years to Cleopatra.
Yeah.
2,500 years or 2,000 years the pyramids. 65,000 years.
That's crazy. The pyramids is what's getting me. That's 2,500 years ago, roughly, or just a bit less.
Well, 2037.
2,000 years ago, you're right.
Cleopatra is another 400 years. 470 years past that. So America could come and go or come twice in the time between Cleopatra and the pyramids.
Holy shit.
And that's what I mean. We don't get time as humans because we are minuscule. Like we are a dust. We are literally a piece of dust. Like in the grand scheme of things, a piece of dust in time.
You know this, isn't it? If you put the whole history of the globe of Earth into a year calendar, we've only been around for 4 seconds.
Yeah,
is that right?
Yeah, something insane.
That's wild.
Because it's been around for billions of years.
Yeah.
And we can't even, like billions of years, we can't even fathom.
Yeah.
Like imagine a civilization that is only 1,000 years ahead of us, how advanced they'd be. But there are planets that may have been around for 1 billion years. So imagine a civilization that's out there that's been around for 1 billion years longer than us. They would be, I mean, even 1,000 years, they would be gods to us.
Yeah. And that's why I always think when I think of like aliens and stuff, like what if other galaxies and stuff have been around for that long and they're obviously so much more developed? Like they could just come to us.
Well, think about it like this. It goes to the Fermi paradox, I think. There's an argument to be made that, why haven't there... There's so many planets in our solar system that could have life potentially that we should have made contact with aliens. But imagine it like this. You're a race that's 1,000 years ahead of us, or we'll say 10,000 years ahead of humans. You wouldn't care about it. Like you would just be watching the Earth, but you wouldn't contact us.
Yeah.
Because we're like ants to them.
Yeah.
Like, when you fly past and you see some monkeys in a forest or whatever, do you stop and go, oh, I'm going to go down and talk to those monkeys? No. You just observe them and go, okay, they're not as, they can't think like we can think. That's how far ahead that alien race would be, is that, like, they reckon the furthest a race could possibly ever get is if they can control atoms and matter, which means that technically, like, let's say you went into a black hole, like, you would obviously die and be torn apart, but all energy never disappears. It only transfers. If they could, they reckon eventually, we're talking, 1 billion years or 1 million years in the future, they could have basically a machine that could re-put together all of your atoms that would make you.
So so what you're saying is that is the most advanced.
That's as far as we can get if we could control, atoms and whatever, because basically what it would say is that anything that has any energy that has passed throughout the universe over the last billion years, if they could gather it all up and put it back in sequence, it would be you.
Fuck. Seriously
crazy stuff. I mean, now obviously, like, that's, science fiction kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's the idea that, you are only made up of a certain amount of atoms and all that kind of stuff and matter.
I feel like I should read more stuff because, like, I literally spend my week just like watching sports documentaries and just doing shit. And then for this hour a week, My mind is always just blown. This is just insane.
Speaking of sports documentary, David Beckham.
Amazing.
I think that for people now, they don't actually appreciate how big David Beckham and Posh Spice was.
Honestly, I knew they were famous. I had no idea.
Nah, you don't understand. They were the most famous people in the world.
Yeah.
Like, they were the people in the world. Like, you had essentially one of the biggest pop stars in the world with the biggest footballer in the world getting together.
Yeah.
It would be like, who's the biggest pop star in the world, you reckon, right now? Taylor Swift? So she's with, what, that Kelce?
Kelsey, whatever, yeah.
And I can't stop seeing it. And I want to stop seeing it. Look, I love love. I love love. I really do. And I'm happy for Taylor Swift and the Kelce guy. I'm happy. There's no hate on them because they're not the ones, they're not the one putting the posts up. But I can't see ESPN and that put any more posts of when he scores a touchdown or makes a catch and she's cheering or whatever. Like, the first couple of weeks, cute.
Yeah.
Brings a tear to the eye.
Yeah.
I love, baby. Happy for them. Now, and again, it's not their fault. They didn't do it, but I don't want to see it anymore.
Nah, I don't care anymore.
I don't want to see it anymore. And matter of fact, I actually reckon they're doing them more harm than good.
Yeah.
Because it's like, they didn't tell ESPN to upload all this stuff about them the whole time. You've got this game called NFL that's worth gazillions of dollars, and all you're seeing is a pop star. And Kelce, he's a good receiver?
Look, I'm going to be honest. I don't
know.
Hadn't
but
heard
okay, let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Let's say he's one of the better.
I think he is, yeah.
Let's say he's just one of the better wide receivers. If he is a wide receiver, apologies not. Let's say he's just one of the better NFL players. We'll just say NFL players. He's definitely not a GOAT right now. He's definitely not, one of the best in the entire world across all sports. Beckham was literally one of the best in football, the biggest sport in the world, way bigger than NFL. He was one of the best, and he was the most known star. So imagine him.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know what? It is like Ronaldo, peak Ronaldo, getting with Taylor Swift.
Do you know what's so funny? When you were explaining this, in my head, I'm like, all right, think of an example. That was my example.
Yeah.
Peak Ronaldo.
Peak Ronaldo, because Ronaldo, good looking, all these endorsements, whatever. Peak Ronaldo getting with Taylor Swift at a peak. That's what it's like. Because that Posh Spice, the Spice Girls, are freaking huge.
Massive, yeah. And that, you're right. That would break the internet.
You wouldn't stop reading about it.
Yeah.
You literally wouldn't stop. I mean, look what's happening with Taylor Swift and a guy that's, not really well known.
Yeah.
I can't stop seeing it.
Yeah, seriously.
And I don't even follow NFL.
Like, I saw an article just before we started. It was Daily Mail, and it was breaking news. Taylor Swift is at the Chiefs game today.
Yeah.
And it had like all these likes and
And it's, again, no hate on Swiftie. I'm happy. I hope you found love, baby.
Yeah.
I hope you found love. And Kelce, if I'm saying that right, I hope you found love. But at the end of the day, Kelce's not even close to how big Beckham was. Like, not even in the same stratosphere as him. And yet, this is how much airtime it gets. Imagine Ronaldo got with Taylor Swift.
Oh, that would, as I said,
doesn't Ronaldo's, I think, old missus have like 60 million followers on Instagram or something?
Yeah.
Like, and she's, I'm sure she does the things in her own right, but most of those followers are because of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, for sure.
So anyway, the documentary was amazing.
Just one last thing on the Taylor Swift thing. Did you see the conspiracy theory? Obviously, it's bullshit. They just played a team called the Jets, but there was this whole thing going around that she only went to the Jets game because there was this article last year that she was the #1 celebrity in the world that uses her private jet too much. And every time you type in Taylor Swift jet, all these bad things come up. And obviously she's come out and said, no, I loaned my private jet to people. It's just in my name. But then there was this conspiracy theory going around that she only went to the Jets game. So that now if you type in Taylor Swift jet, it will be about this Travis Kelce.
Oh my God.
I know.
Mate, this conspiracy stuff on the internet. Because the problem is there's obviously conspiracies have happened. Obviously.
Yeah.
So obvious. But it's gotten to the point where anything that comes out, people just don't believe it and there's a conspiracy.
Yeah.
It's just it's not conspiracy. Or anything that they don't like comes out, like any bit of information on news, not conspiracy.
Yeah.
But things they do like for example, what I don't get about a lot of conspiracies is where do you, if you don't trust that source of information, why do you trust this source of information?
Yeah, people choosing their own narrative.
Yeah, so which source do you trust?
Yeah.
And if no one can be trusted, then you can never have a conspiracy because no one can be trusted.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Nah, not at all.
And anyway, I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole because they're super passionate. I tell you what, if you could take conspiracy people as a fan base and start a new NRL club with it would be the most passionate fan base ever. Because
Yeah.
like what's crazy about conspiracy theorists is they'll defend any conspiracy till the death. So like, could you imagine they took that passion and supported a sports team? It'd be the greatest sports team in the history of mankind.
Oh, absolutely. There are like conspiracy like WhatsApp groups and conspiracy just like forums everywhere.
Yeah,
It's,
look, and please, just in the comments, you don't need to come out. Like, if you believe in conspiracies, that's good for you, mate.
Yeah.
Good for you. And I'm not saying conspiracies haven't happened. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
But let's be honest with each other right now as we're sitting here as blokes. You tend to be quite passionate about conspiracies.
Yes.
There tends to be a very strong connection between believing something that a conspiracy is happening and defending it very strongly. And it seems like sometimes your identity is wrapped up in it. Let's just not everyone, but some. I'm just saying, very passionate. And you know what? There's some very passionate rugby league fans that their identity is wrapped up in their sports team.
Yep. I'll happily admit to that one.
Yeah, but I don't see. Yeah. Anyway, it's all like, honestly, they're like a wild mob.
I know.
And they're super aggressive. It's never like,
Yeah, it's aggressive as.
Yeah, it's never like, hey mate, like, you know, this is why I believe this certain thing, and you know this. It's like, you are a piece of shit for not believing this thing. And it's like, wow.
Anyway,
Beck
back to
Stocko. Yeah, so good, and it's interesting to see Alex Ferguson and the similarities between him and Wayne Bennett.
Oh, it's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, it's just like, wow, they're similar.
Yeah.
And I understand Ferguson is much more successful. You know, I get all that, but geez, they're similar in the way they, you know, move and approach
For sure.
things.
Yeah. One of the first things I noticed. I loved what you said before, how it wasn't all like, you know, happy stories. I actually thought they played, obviously Beckham's one of the best football players ever. They played a lot of like bad highlights, I thought.
Well, I thought like they didn't really even celebrate how great he was.
They didn't.
You know, like they're like, yeah, he was really good, but they weren't like, they never sat with like, here's this crazy goal and this crazy, like yeah, it was more the man, the person. Don't get me wrong, they still had his big highlights and, you know, his free kick against Greece, I think it was. They still had all that kind of stuff, but yeah, they had plenty more footage they could have used, like all the titles he won at Manchester United. You know, so yeah, it was an amazing doco, and like Victoria Beckham, I thought she come off great too.
Oh, she was
hilarious.
The star of the show.
Without her, it would have lost a lot of its character.
Yeah,
because she was so like I mean, we've all seen it, the memes on the internet where she's like, you know, we both grew up middle class, and he's like, what car did you used to drive around in?
That's so funny.
And she didn't want to answer it, and then she's like, a Rolls Royce, and he's like, Jesus. But she was endearing for some reason. You know, it didn't come off as, how dare you say you're middle class. It was almost like, oh, Victoria.
Yeah.
You are silly. You're being silly, Victoria. No, I thought she added a lot of heart to the documentary.
Yeah, and she was very honest the whole
really
way through.
honest, and also, well, when Bex pulled her up, but also I liked that she was honest about, you know, like she got to settle some scores in regards to, she was blamed for a lot of stuff, and when she was just, you know, a mother trying to take care of her family, and like the whole Manchester United thing, and I know, you know, we try to give as much credit to partners as possible in these sporting things. And it's a little bit different over there because they get up and move in a week. Whereas over here, even though it's still hard for the partners, it definitely is, they get longer because the RLPA's put in these long-term contract kind of negotiations can happen. But over there, like, imagine you've got a family, you know, going to school, friends, and you've got to uproot them and just move countries. Now, I get it. They get compensated for that. And that's the not sacrifice. That's the exchange they make. But it still doesn't make it easier.
Well, there's a huge language barrier. That's the first thing. They had to go to Spain where
yeah, but if your kids are in school, got these friends.
Well, yeah.
And so it's not even about the parents. Like, the parents can deal with it. They're fine. They'll go to another country. But like, imagine telling your 8-year-old son or daughter, oh, you know those friends that you absolutely love?
Yeah.
Probably never going to see them again. We're going to another country that doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Like that has ramifications. It hurts the kids. It's hard. And I thought it was really good to see her side of things.
Yeah, I agree. I thought she was almost the star of the show. I love it. They didn't take long for her to come in as well, which was great. And yeah, so just seeing the old footage of her and David like just walking, like obviously I was too young for all this, right? Wasn't he just so ahead of time when it comes to like fashion, and not fashion, but like putting yourself out there? And obviously she was the exact same. So they were, I really loved watching them like roll around England, wearing all these crazy outfits. And
well, he was almost one of the first athletes or soccer players at the very least, footballers, that became a brand first.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there was some before, but like you didn't see Diego Maradona, you didn't see Pele, to my understanding, while they were playing do this. And it's actually what created a lot of friction between him and Alex Ferguson.
Yeah.
Is the fact that he was like, mate, you're changing because you're worried about your brand. You should be worried about football. And that's a debate that you could have online all day long where, you know, Beckham will say, no, I didn't. Some fans will say, yeah, you did. You weren't as hungry when you started worrying about your brand. I mean, even in the documentary, he says, no, I didn't. But Ferguson says, no, you did change.
Yeah.
And in Ferguson's book, he says, no, he did change. He used to be a really hungry, chase every ball player, and then he started worrying about his brand and he lost that edge. But regardless, it's a great documentary. And even the fact, like, I love the fact that we spoke about when he went over to America and he bounced again. And he's just like, yeah, I'm bouncing again. Goes back and they win the league or whatever. It's so cool. So cool. And now he owns, a soccer team in America, into Miami.
Into Miami, yeah.
And I think so part of his contract, I think, was like a license. He said part of the contract is when I pay for a license for a club, it's 25 million. By the time it came around, now a license just to get a club in the MLS, Major League Soccer League, is $500 million. So like the money he's going to make off that club is going to be outrageous money.
Yeah, crazy. And wasn't it just like a fitting end? Obviously the journey's still going for him, but a fitting end of the last kind of thing that he did was sign freaking Messi to his team.
And then Messi comes over and just tears it apart.
Yeah.
So cool. So great doco. Definitely recommend it. I'm still in the SAS hole though. I'm still watching that. Found some more seasons. Because I was going to watch season 1 to 5 because I thought Ant Middleton then changed to Celebrity 1. And I don't know, like Celebrity 1, like I might watch it, I might not, but I already know who the winners are. So it's like, what's the point of watching Celebrity SAS when you know who the winner is?
Yeah, you know who won,
Whereas the other ones I don't. And so I thought that he had left for Celebrity SAS, but I'm in season 6 right now and he's still there.
So can I just clarify something you said on DMP, which I didn't understand? So you watched the early seasons, but you couldn't follow the actual winners? Is that right?
No. So I went back to find season 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Season 1 you can get on Apple.
Yeah.
Season 2 to 5, you've got to go on like Daily Motion to find the episodes.
No, I meant like, because you said that you're not able to find out who won.
That's a different one. There's an Australian SAS actual course.
Oh, right.
Where they're actually trying out for the SAS.
Oh, okay.
That's different to a TV show, reality TV show.
Oh, okay. I got mixed up.
Yeah. So there's one on YouTube that's they're actually trying out for the SAS, and the Australian film crews and that filmed it. And they're actual Aussies trying out.
Oh, gotcha.
And you don't find out who gets through because obviously their identity can't be revealed.
Hurry out, you are in the hole.
Mate, I'm
everything.
Deep in the hole. I am deep in the hole. I don't know what it is. It's just roared in me. It's roared in me. I never forget the stories they tell us on the army camps and it's, but then you think, hey, I'm living a comfortable life. There's no need to get uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah. I love listening to, like, you say him quite a bit, but all footy players talking about their army camp stories. They're just fascinating.
Put it this way. Any footy player, league player that's been at a club for 5 to 8 years or whatever, and if they went on any of these SAS TV shows, I'm not sure about the real SAS because it's so freaking long. That's like weeks and weeks, if not months long. They should win it. Not win it. They should at least not withdraw and finish it.
Yeah.
Because, and what have we seen? We've seen Sammy Burgess killed it. Millie Boyle killed it. Darius Boyd killed it. Boyd Cordner obviously was killing it, then tore his pec, but he would have finished it easy.
For sure.
And it's because they've already done similar stuff, if not maybe harder, because the difference between an NRL army camp and the camp, I'm not talking about the real SAS camps, I'm talking about the celebrity SAS ones.
Yeah.
The celebrity SAS ones are really, really hard. Please don't mistake me. Like, the stuff they do it's scary, it's challenging mentally, you've got to push yourself. But with the footy ones, you've got 30 super hyper fit blokes. So the fitness stuff that you can do is going to be a little bit different to, people that are TV stars or, you know what I'm saying? It's not good. So I think the celebrity SS one, they what they do is they mix in mentally tough stuff. That's like, you've got to, if you're afraid of heights or whatever. Whereas I think the rugby league army camps, they're a mixture of super hard physical stuff where you're like, you're pack marching for like 30 kilometers or whatever. And And that's why whenever I mean, you remember when Darius got nominated to go in the SAS last year, I said, I guarantee he finishes it.
Yep.
Guarantee he finishes it. And I guarantee he wins it because I've been in army camps with Darbs. Like we were both 17 or 18 when we did our first longest 6-day one. So I know that a guy like Darius, like I know that people think.
You lived with him as well, didn't you?
Yeah, live with him as well. But like Darius will not out-train in regards to, he may not beat every single person in fitness, even though I would argue he's one of the fittest men in the competition, but he will out-train most people when it means like turning up, not giving in, going all day. Like Darbs does that. I know that people don't actually realize that with Darius because he's an outside back. You don't really associate that with outside backs, but he is one of the hardest, best trainers that you'll ever come across. And so that's why I knew for sure he'd win it. I knew for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? All the footy players that have gone on.
They go on because they know the experience.
Yeah.
It's like, and I think also like people, they're hard. These things are hard, but you'd be surprised at what you can get through. You just got to get used to it.
Yeah.
You would be surprised at, like, you think that, oh, that's just only footy players can do that or whatever. No, not at all. Like, not at all. Like, of course you have to have a base fitness to get through it, but you'd be surprised how mentally tough you are once you are put in that position and just accept that this is what it is. Like, people would like to think, oh, man, only the craziest could get through. Now, again, I'm not talking about the real SAS stuff because that is truly you're getting the best of the best. I'm just talking about army camps that go for 3 to 6 days.
Yeah.
They suck. They're so hard. You don't want to be doing them, but I promise you, listeners or whatever, you'd be surprised how far you can go and how far you can push your body. And that's what's so good about these army camps is it teaches you so much about who you are as a person.
Yeah. I guess us normal people, like, because the option of just not doing something is right there. For sure. Like the option of not doing something is there. But if you get put in an environment where it's like you don't have that option anymore. That's what I mean, yeah.
Then you'd be surprised at how far you'll push yourself.
Yeah.
Now, like even the rugby league, camps, we have the option to go, not doing it, fuck this, and walking off. Like, for example, if you're at work and you're doing something crazy, you have the option to go, I am not doing this and leaving. Now, you might lose your job, but it's still an option.
Yeah,
it's still an option. And so, the SAS stuff, it's such an interesting thing to watch. Again, the celebrity stuff's hard to watch because I already know the winners, but the stuff I'm watching on TV, seeing how tough some of these people are, it's so cool to see. So cool to see. And as I said, a lot of listeners, you'd be surprised at how tough you would be. And I know you may not think it, but you really would be surprised how far you'd be able to push yourself if you're put in the right environment.
I might watch it next season. I've never actually watched it, SAS.
Go back and watch some of the early ones.
Yeah.
Go back and watch season 1 of SAS Who Dares Wins.
Okay.
Because that was hectic. Because that's when they pack marched for kilometres on end, kept them awake all night, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it teaches a lot about yourself. Definitely does. But anyway, we've got some international games on.
Oh, so been starved of rugby league. It's been 2 weeks.
Is it Saturday or Saturday?
Tomorrow night, Saturday, is Australia versus Samoa, and then Sunday is PNG versus Cook Islands.
Man, I can't believe Samoa was pushed out all the way to $13.
Look, I don't think they're going to win, but I think that price is crazy.
Do you think it's because Australia is, I'm assuming, a substantially bigger population than Samoa? Kind of like the New South Wales effect?
Yeah.
Where New South Wales always heading as favourites when everyone's going, what? We lost 7 in a row. Like, how are we favourites? Or we lost 4 in a row, 5 in a row.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
so I think that maybe this is more a case of, even though I still think Australia are solid favourites, I think this might be more of a case of more Aussies
probably.
betting on
And
their
I don't
country.
think, because obviously only people in Australia can use, these are sports bets. So
yeah, good point. That's a good point. That's really why their odds are so wide.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I didn't think of that.
Because not only are Australia obviously favourites, but then you add in the bias.
Yeah, for ssure.
That as an Aussie, you think you're going to win.
For sure. What do you think about the 22.5 start?
Mate, I'd get on that if I was, $1.90, 22.5 start.
See, I think Australia will...
Brought to you by Sportsbet. Legend partners over at Sportsbet. Of course you do it on Sportsbet. The best in the business. You win some, but you lose more. Gamble responsibly, guys.
I have a feeling it'll be semi-close for most of the game, and then Australia might pull away at the end. But 22 is a big margin.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll get that far.
Huge margin, especially like 22 points with a team that doesn't play together all year long.
Yeah.
Like, even if Australia kill it, they're not going to click straight away.
Yeah. And
if they do, then you're going, wow, what a great performance.
Yeah, and obviously their 4-pack's amazing, Australia, but Samoa have a great 4-pack as well.
22 points. I think that's a bit Yeah, and $13. Jesus. In a game of rugby league where anything can happen,
13's a big number.
$13. That's that's big. I can't wait to see Dylan Edwards on the edge. I really can't. It's going to be. I think he's going to do well.
I got to give you credit there. I didn't think he'd play on the wing. Like when you said it last week, I was like, yeah, I guess it's an option, but I just didn't see it happening. But here he is playing on the wing, and like now I've thought about it and like heard your explanation. And Darius Boyd's a great example as well. It is a good choice. It's a smart, solid choice.
Yeah. I think he's doing really well on the wing. I think he's going to be great out of carrying out of his own end. I can't wait to see them play together. Tony Staggs, Selwyn Cobbo in an Australian jersey. That's exciting.
I don't know who's on what side, but I wonder if Edwards is going to come up against. He probably won't because Toto will probably be left. Will he? I'm not sure. It would be interesting though if Toto comes up against Edwards.
I think it's weird because we make a lot of good calls on the show.
Yeah,
but it's weird because like you don't really speak. I mean, obviously we speak about them. Like for example, and I wasn't on the show, but obviously Guru's part of the bloke community, the family. His call for Critter at 6,
cracker.
Like I'm assuming he didn't have inside mail.
No,
it's one of the all-time calls.
Crazy.
There's not a person in rugby league that thought he was playing 6.
No, I was actually. I think I was with him when he first said it because then it dropped when we were in the cafe. And he's like, I think he's looking at the team. He's like, I think Critter's going to play 6 here. And I was like, really?
It's a great call. It's a great call.
He's got some, Guru.
He's got some. But I mean, that's what comes with watching a lot of rugby league.
100%.
And that's the difference between, when you watch some people talk about footy, they're not watching every game.
Oh yeah.
They're not watching every game. Whereas you can only make these calls if you are watching every game and listening to, watching the news cycle.
Yeah.
So every time news drops, seeing that, but also watching every game, it just gives you a good insight to, just the feel and the vibe of what's going to happen.
For sure. I think a consumer can pick up very quickly if people are analysing a game, they've watched a 10-minute highlight.
Yeah, for sure. Well, because it was also like fans of teams, they don't watch every game, but they watch every second of their team.
Yeah, so intently.
So if you get something wrong, they're gonna be like, that's their team.
Exactly.
That's all they watched.
Yeah.
You watched every. So, it's a great call by the Roo. Going to be Payne Haas and Tino starting. I'm surprised. I'm a bit surprised Isaiah Yeo started over Paddy. Not surprised because I don't think Isaiah Yeo could be the man. I just thought maybe he would be leaning towards Paddy because he'd played with Payne so much. And obviously DCE is the 7.
Yeah, that's
so it's like, whereas like Cleary as a 7, I could totally understand Yeo. Look, to be honest, you cannot go wrong with Isaiah Yeo. It doesn't matter, yeah. When you go and look at Isaiah Yeo's number this year, they are outrageously good.
Yeah.
Like statistically, he is still the best 13 in the comp.
Yeah.
Like purely statistics. Now it depends on, do you value offloads more? Do you value meters or tackles or defense or whatever? But statistically, he's still one of the best. And, people would say he had a quiet, in air quotation, years, but
yeah, if you look at his numbers, he killed it.
He killed it. He's so bloody good.
I think you're right, though. I think I was a bit shocked that Paddy didn't get named to 13 purely because DCE, Munster, Harry Grant, Ben Hunt.
I wonder whether Cotter's going to maybe play on an edge and Paddy's going to come on in the middle as a front rower because he does play similar. Like he definitely has front row in him. Like if you say, Paddy, I just need you to truck, nut and tackle, he can definitely do that. Like, I mean, he was doing it for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, matter of fact, next year you might find a front row of Paddy Carrigan, Payne Haas and Kobe Hetherington at 13.
So what you're saying is at some point the front rowers for Australia are going to be Cotter and Carrigan. With you still on the field?
I think Cotter may go on the edge.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Whereas I think, maybe Paddy... And look, maybe Paddy goes on an edge.
Yeah. But, I mean, he did a couple of times this year.
Yeah, look, I think it's going to be actually... Lindsay Collins, Paddy Carrigan are your 2 front rowers on the bench. I mean, technically you got 3. So maybe Ruben Cotter goes and defends on an edge for a little bit.
Yeah.
Or Paddy Carrigan goes and defends on the edge. But I'd say it's probably Ruben Cotter that will go to an edge over Paddy and have Paddy through the middle there. Interesting, Jake Trbojevic not on the side. But I just think it's a case of a little bit older now. When you look at the competition, you've got enough players there that have got that dog in them, that they, that extra spirit that he does bring. I think they're kind of covered for it with guys like DC in the side.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think he's still perfect for the Blues with what we need at the moment. But yeah, this current Australian team with all those great forwards,
Very hard to put him in over like Ruben Cotter. We saw how good he was in Origin. Paddy
tough,
Carrigan,
yeah.
Lindsay Collins, Harry Grant, and obviously Tino and Payne Haas. Very hard, like
for sure. Yeah,
but if you watch this game and there's a lack of spirit and connection in the middle, you get him straight in there.
Straight in.
Because that's what he's really bringing. He's bringing really good defense and spirit.
Yep.
So going to be interesting to see what they do there. Yeah, I can't wait. In regards to Samoa side, I just hope that they put on a good showing, because I would hate for them to have such good success in the World Cup and then come in and get blown off the park, and then everyone starts. No one can ever question what they did in the World Cup, but there's plenty of people that can put shit on it, and go, oh yeah, it was a fluke.
Yeah.
It was a fluke. Even though that's not the case and we all know that, but I'd hate for that to happen. I'd love for them to have a solid showing against Australia so they can go, no, it was no fluke. We are here and we're here to stay.
Yeah, yeah. And I think they will. I think their 4-pack, obviously, look at their starting 2 front rowers, and their bench is freaking crazy.
Yeah.
So I reckon they can definitely match it for at least a small amount of time with the Aussies. What do you think of Critter at 6?
I think he's just. I look at it more from a defense perspective.
Yep.
I just think that you can't afford to have leaky edges against Australia, because they'll just tear you apart.
For sure.
So I reckon they've just gone, look, he's one of the best defensive outside backs in the competition. Get him at 6. We shore up that line. Get some confidence there. Because obviously with Jerome Luai out,
Yeah.
Who's going to go there?
Exactly, yeah.
Very hard. Like, obviously you've got Ronald Volkman, but then you've got DeJohn Arce and Ronald Volkman in 6 and 7, two rookies, pretty much.
You'd much rather Critter in there for sure.
So, yeah, it's tough. Like, obviously his ball playing is nowhere near as good as normal 6, but the coach has already said he's only selected as a ball-running 6. He's not selected. He doesn't want him doing ball playing.
For that reason, I know, obviously brought to you by Sportsbet, he's paying $5.50 to score a try.
Oh, really?
And I'm loving that.
That's great. Yeah.
$5.50.
And Critter, getting the ball more often than he does, pretty much almost guaranteeing a try. In Critter's defense, if there's a guy that can just make it work somehow, it's Stephen Crichton.
Oh, isn't he just that? He's just that guy.
He just makes it work. Like, it doesn't, leading into it, you can't really look at anything and go, oh, that's going to work, or this doesn't suit him, or this does suit him. And then he'll just get in the position and he'll play in his unique style and he'll just make it work.
He's such a freaking beast.
Yeah.
Just even the fact that he's probably going to be kicking for him as well.
Yeah, probably.
He just can do everything.
I know. It's so
I really
good.
like him.
Isaac Tungor, can't wait to see him get some more reps under his belt, because I thought he come off injured in the grand final, I think.
Yeah, he did. He
and
came
then now
off
he's
early.
playing as well. So that's a really interesting whatever's going on there. Because the grand final's 3 weeks ago now. So
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
And he's been in and out of first grade. Most of the year.
Sure, yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on with his body, whether it was just a little 2-week injury that happened in the grand final. But what's surprising, I guess, about that is that, Tungor's, if you're in a grand final and you're getting a 2-week injury or whatever, you're probably staying on.
You think you stay on the field, yeah.
So, yeah, going to be interesting to see what happens there. But the main guy I can't wait to see is Far Long.
Oh, yeah.
Far out. I can't wait to see that guy.
He just seeing him against Brisbane in that final round was just such a pleasure. So, yeah. Oh, can't wait to get the hands on the ball.
Far Long, and if he does it against an Australian side, you're just like, okay, all right, we got one here. We got a superstar here.
What do you reckon? I know it's a long way away, but do you reckon he plays NRL next year?
Mate, that's going to be tough. Look, I've said from the get-go, I think you put Meaney at centre.
Yep.
Pappy at fullback, and then maybe have Fa'alongo at 14. I'm not sure. I am not sure. But then you go, well, hang on a sec. Harry Grant can't play 80 minutes. Well, he can, but we don't want him to.
Yeah.
So, very interesting what they're going to do. Very interesting.
Out, yeah. I obviously, again, so far away, but I'd love to see him playing regular first grade
My
next
main
year.
want for Storm is I just want Pappy back.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I just want him back playing regular footy.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see him just get a full season under his belt. One of the great returns all time in rugby league.
Yeah, and it's good. It's good that he's going to be back full training in January or something. So we get a good couple months before the season starts.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
PNG versus Cook Islands. I can't wait to see PNG. I reckon PNG are the next team that are going to do something special. Like you had Tonga, Samoa. I reckon PNG is the next one up.
I hope so, because their fans
Oh, they're the
Oh
best.
my God.
They're the best.
Hey, so what?
Talk about passion earlier.
Yeah, the only national sport. Rugby league is their national sport. The only one in the world.
Yeah.
Wild.
Some of those scenes coming out of PNG are so cool to see. And if they can somehow, there's a lot of chitter chat about maybe they become the 18th NRL side and government grants. And, I understand it'll be really hard, but I tell you what, the atmosphere and energy that it would give rugby league to have a team from PNG playing.
For sure.
Now, I understand there's so much that have to go right. And also, it'd be super hard to recruit because you probably couldn't have them living in PNG because a lot of people wouldn't go and live in PNG. They'd live in, there's been talk that they play out of Cairns.
Yep.
However you make it work, if you can make it work, geez, imagine the injection that would put in rugby league, the fanfare that they would have in PNG, the sellouts that they would have every single home game.
Yeah, they'd be everyone's second favourite team as well.
For sure they would. For sure
How
they
good was
would.
it when they came into the Q Cup a few years ago?
Yeah, and
didn't they win?
In like the second or first year or something like that.
Yeah, and that went nuts. I remember I was at the state, so I wasn't at the Q Cup grand final, but I was at the state championship the next week. I think it might have been 2017 or 2016, one of those ones. I could be wrong. Maybe 2016. And the PNG had a whole bay at the grand final, at the NRL grand final, because of the game before. Like all their fans were there. It was crazy.
Now, speak to me. Australia struggling in the Cricket World Cup. What's it doing, Matty?
Yeah, look, where do we even begin? Obviously, the last few weeks, what's dominated is the Wallabies going so poorly. And me personally, like obviously there's so many Wallabies fans out there. I'm kind of like, yeah, I'll jump on the bandwagon if we win, and kind of obviously disappointed if we lose. But I'm fully invested in cricket, and particularly last night was really, really poor. Where Australia we're known for our World Cups. We won 99, 03, 2007. So that's 3 in a row. We lost 2011, but we still made the semis. Then we came back home and won 2015. 2019, we made the semis as well. So like this is our bread and butter. And what's gone wrong? We've had our worst loss in World Cup history, I think it was last night, which was I was there watching it with Hammy, and we were there for 2 hours before we took a wicket. It was just so bad. I think we broke a record for drop catches in a game. It was so tough to watch. Now we're 0-2. There's still plenty of games left, but
Don't we have to win like 7 in a row or something to get in?
I think we have to win the next 7. Yeah, at least 6 of the next 7.
And so, do we have anyone? Are we playing like England in that, or?
Well, so the way the World Cup's set up now, there's no pools anymore. There's only 10 teams, so everyone plays everyone.
So we've still got to play England.
Yeah, we still got
New Zealand,
New Zealand, Pakistan,
Oh,
everyone.
fuck.
We're in trouble. We're in huge trouble.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
All right, guys, cricket fans, you want my take?
yeah.
Here it is. Here it is. You need to bowl towards the wickets a bit better. Paddy Cummins, I know you love this potty. Just straighten her up a bit, mate. Straight down the middle of the stumps, mate. And catches, keep your eye on the ball.
Catches win matches.
That's what they always say, mate. That's what I was always taught, mate. Keep your eye on the ball till it's big as a watermelon. So there you go.
Great advice. But it like 20 like what? So 8 years ago, so 2 World Cups ago, we won the World Cup in Australia, one of the greatest tournaments ever. Australia, the Wallabies, go undefeated and lose in the final to the All Blacks. What a fall from grace just from both since then.
But in saying that, like,
I mean, they're totally different teams, obviously.
but also, like, our Australian side has been pretty bloody successful.
Oh, we've been blessed.
Yeah. No, as in, like, the cricket side.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, this
true.
current cricket roster, obviously we're having a Barry Crocker, but last couple of years been pretty good. We retained the Ashes. I know that we blew the lead, blah, 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 but we retained the Ashes.
We retained the Ashes.
Over in England.
And we won the World Test Championship.
So it's like...
it's been a good year.
That's what's the really intriguing question about this Australian cricket side now, is that you had the old guard of Langer, who was very old school, very tough, and then you've got this new aged. And look, Paddy Cummins is tough. Like he proved that. Like with all the stuff going on for him personally, what he did in the Ashes was amazing, and what he's done over the last couple of years. But I guess the real tough question is that sustained success when you, I guess, pull off the reins a little bit, and that modern athlete that is more they have the more autonomy to say what they do and don't want to do. Whereas like the athlete of yesteryear was like a dictatorship of the coach.
Yeah.
This is how they did things. And so Paddy Cummins is going to have to really navigate that, those really harsh lessons he learned from Langer, but also that new age, there's different ways to do things. And I think that's getting put under the test right now.
For sure.
And sometimes that new age of doing things, it can create a bit of inconsistency because you don't have a whipping boy, like just a coach whipping you constantly. So although you may be happier and you can have these really high highs, sometimes you can have these really low lows because you don't have someone constantly making you walk on eggshells or whatever.
Yeah.
And so that's a real test. And look, I think that it's going to be very easy to get the forks out for Paddy Cummins, in this World Cup. Very easy.
For sure.
And to a degree, rightly so. Captain of the country and the leader or whatever. But, let's look at the last couple of years. Been pretty bloody good.
It's been good.
It's been pretty bloody good. So, although I'm not excusing it, and again, this is just as you guys all know, I'm a very casual cricket fan. Like, I'm just a fan of the fact that they're our country and they're playing. But just knowing teams and how teams work and being in a professional environment as, sport-wise, that'll be the test is like, because when you bring in a new coach, and who's the coach now?
Andrew McDonald.
But he doesn't seem to have the same kind of...
I haven't heard him interviewed once.
Yeah, so it's like, it does seem that it's kind of Paddy Cummins' like side to a degree.
Oh, for sure it is.
So we have to remember, Paddy Cummins is relatively young, correct?
Yeah, he's probably like 30?
Yeah,
29, 30?
So he's like, let's say he's 29 or 30.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming captains in the past are what, 35, 30,
Oh, the heart, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
He got it very
He got it
young.
relatively
and he
young.
also debuted when he was 18, which is unheard of in cricket.
And look, again, this is outside looking in. So you have to remember, we're also watching Paddy Cummins develop as a person, as a leader.
Yeah, he's 30.
He's 30.
And he's been captain for a couple of years now.
Yeah, so like he's going to get better. He's going to learn. And so we're watching him develop as a person and as a player. So again, I know the pitchforks will be out and everyone will be out to get Paddy Cummins, but let's just remember we've had some pretty bloody good success over the last couple of years as him as captain. And also, I know he wasn't given captaincy straight away after the whole Sandgate incident, but he's been a part of the group that has led the Australian side out of the darkest day in
he was a big part of that, for sure.
So again, it doesn't excuse the terrible results that we've had last couple of days, but I think that put it all into context.
Yeah. And also, yes, we've had a bad couple of days, and yes, we did have a really bad T20 World Cup at the end of last year, but I did say at the start that we're known for our white ball, our one day World Cup cricket, that's our bread and butter. But the red ball stuff, which is obviously the most important stuff, has been going pretty well, and that's his main job.
Yeah.
So, and to his defense as well, World Cup in India is the hardest place for us to play. It's just the opposite of Australian conditions.
Yep.
So I never thought we'd win this World Cup.
Yeah.
I thought we'd go a little better than last night. But obviously a couple of wins is everyone will forget it for sure.
And I think that as you said, at the end of last year didn't do well. But I think if we keep having these results, then you bring out the pitchforks and go, what the hell is going on in camp? But outside looking in, I think that so far, aside from a few blemishes, looks like Paddy Cummins has done a pretty good job.
We went to England, won the World Test Championship, and more importantly, we retained the Ashes, which is literally incredible. In England, incredible. So let's not forget that.
Yeah, and so it's going to be interesting to see how he navigates this. And again, we have to remember he is developing as a leader, as a player, as a person as well.
For sure.
Yeah, he'll be at 35 years old. He'll be a better leader than he was at 30. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Going to be hopefully
we just get a few wins on the board. That'd be nice.
Yeah. I will say though, and again, this is a very casual eye. They do seem to have these real high highs and these really low lows.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it just crazy? It's so hard to be a cricket fan at the moment because you just don't know who's going to turn up.
Yeah, we have these crazy, for example, when we started the Ashes, we are pounding these guys into the earth.
Yeah.
We are absolutely dominating these guys in their own backyard.
Yeah.
And then we had, I think it was one rough call or something, and then we just went to absolute water.
We were up 2-0 on top of the world, and then ended up 2-2? Yeah.
We got saved by rain pretty much.
We did. if it wasn't for rain, we would have lost.
Yeah.
So you're right. So that series sums everything up perfectly. I just don't know who's going to turn up.
And that is the question of finding a balance between old school leadership, because you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Like old school leadership, there's so much tradition, like there's so much value in tradition and the way things were done.
Yeah.
But also understanding that we need to progress as athletes and sports people and mixing the two together. And I think that they're still trying to find that balance. As I said, as a casual fan, a guy that's been in professional outfits, it does look like they're trying to find that balance between the two at the moment.
For sure. It'll be really good to get Hammy's thoughts on Monday, because I'm pretty casual myself. Like I'm not into cricket like I'm into rugby league. I'm a keen observer, but I don't know that much about it. But he's deep into the game. Yeah.
We'll have Hammy on for a bit longer on Monday, because he's going to give us a deep dive into cricket, all you cricket fans, and I can give you some more deep insight. I mean, Paddy, hit the stumps, bruh.
Stumps.
Paddy, hit the stumps. How hard is it? They're like literally right in front of you. And also catch the ball. It's fucking red. How do you miss it?
Well, this one's white at the moment.
Okay, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not red. Maybe it's white. Look, the colour is irrelevant. It's a colour that stands out. It's a colour that stands out. Look, do I know anything about cricket? Absolutely fucking not. But sometimes there's truth in metaphor. I don't know what that means. Catch the ball is fucking white. It doesn't blend in the grass. It's white. Like, it's literally almost the opposite of green. What's the opposite of green?
Sure.
At least it's not red. You can barely see those things.
Yeah, true.
At least it's not bloody red. You can hardly see that thing. And we bloody go well at that game.
I don't know how to follow that one up.
Anyway, that's us done and dusted. We'll go fuck ourselves.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.